What's up, Raf gang? It's Raf in the RAFCAVE. Welcome back to another video. Now, normally don't do like spoiler movie reviews. I did, I think, one or two back in the day on the channel. I can't remember what movie it was. But I saw this movie twice this weekend. So that warrants a spoiler and my thoughts of the movie and everything that I remember and what I thought was amazing about this movie. I wanted to tell you guys and talk about it. And it's also freaking Mortal freaking Kombat. I love Mortal Kombat. Obviously, I played it in the arcades day one, 30 years ago. And I've lived throughout Mortal Kombat, throughout the games and the movies and the TV shows and the animated cartoon movies and all that leading up to this here. So, man, it's so much. I made a couple videos already. I made the out of theater reaction, like a minute long. Just said what I thought about it. No spoilers there. Just go see it. You have a blast. It's great. And then I made a shorts video about the Shao Kahn popcorn bucket I got from AMC. So let's go check those out. I love the popcorn bucket. I thought I got the better of the two. Even though the Regal one has a larger helmet and that covers the entire popcorn bucket, the popcorn bucket is ass. It's basically just a black bucket with Mortal Kombat 2 on it. No. AMC is full color, embroidered, beautiful, and then the Shao Kahn helmet is pretty damn awesome. So anyway, it's over in the RAFCAVE theater. It's chilling. All right, with that being said, there are a lot of other merchandise in theaters, and I just didn't want to get all this stuff. But if you got them, hell yeah. All right, let's get to the movie. Holy crap. Now, I got the final trailer up here, as you can see next to me. So I'll just kind of play a little bit of it and kind of maybe go through a little bit and talk about those scenes. But man, overall, I love the movie. Saw it twice. By the way, all right. So I saw it first in IMAX because it's filmed in IMAX. So you're going to see the larger scope of the screens. You're going to see way more. And it's just so much better visually for the sharpness, the color, the deeper blacks. I saw it in the laser projection of IMAX. So you're going to get this incredible visual. But it definitely, it stretches the screen. It doesn't stretch it, but it just expands the aspect up and down when the fights are happening. So you're going to see a lot more of the background while they're fighting. It's such an incredible difference than watching it in a normal theater, which I saw it the second time in the standard normal size screen, where I was like, man, I'm missing something from the top and bottom of these fights. So if you have a chance to see it in IMAX, definitely it's worth the extra money to see the IMAX for sure. So the movie, basically, it's a katana story. First and foremost, the heart of this movie is katana. I know Johnny Cage is our window going into this world, which it should have been in the first movie, but we're getting in here. But overall, it is an arc of katana from a little girl to the ending of this movie. So that being said, it starts out the movie. So by the way, okay. You know what I love about the 1995 opening of Mortal Kombat? It's just Mortal, the theme song. And they're showing the logo spinning with the fire coming out of it. The music's pumping. You're just getting super hyped to jump into this Mortal Kombat universe. And I was just really excited waiting for that opening burst of Mortal Kombat theme music. They don't play it. Okay, so fine. All right. It's a nice slow entry, somber entry into Mortal Kombat. Okay, it's fine. Maybe the next one will get a super hype opening. But anyway, it starts out on Edenia. Edenia is basically another type of earth, but that's kind of where Katana's from. So we want to kind of start there. So she's a little girl and her dad is King Jared. He's the guy with the armor on that was fighting Shao Kahn. And he's basically telling her that, there's a tournament and I'm the last of the champions of Edenia. So I need to fight and battle to keep our world from falling into Shao Kahn, So he's telling the girl, she's like, she's stronger than you. How are you going to beat him? He's like, it's not about a closed fist. It's about your heart and what's here and all that stuff. That's more strength. So anyway, he's going to have to fight. So it starts out, Jared, Shao Kahn, and you see him walk down these stairs in slow motion. And Shao Kahn looks absolutely awesome. I love the way he looked. The actor that played him was just perfect. He had the size and the voice. And he just looked great. The helmet and the armor and the hammer just dragging the hammer on the floors, going down the stairs, and he walks slow because he's just a big brute presence. But what really made Shao Kahn, the whole outfit just pop, and the way everything about him was his eyes. His eyes were the red glowing dragon eyes, and that's what made it perfect. His eyes were glowing. It was just awesome. So I just loved the way he looked, and I'm just watching this, and I'm like, wow, he's fighting Jared. And the fight scenes, let me tell you, every fight scene is incredible. Much better improvement from the first movie. So I'm watching this fight, and Jared's doing the stored thing with, fighting Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn's got the hammer, and he's hitting them and stuff, and they're flying around back and forth. And, Jared got him a couple times, got him down. And he was about, hey, I'm going to kill this dude. And all of a sudden, Shao Kahn's like, he puts his hand up to block the sword going into him and grabs him and then twists him around and then just slices his fingers off. And Jared's just like, oh, I got no fingers. It was just awesome. And of course, you see Katana, she's like, oh no. And Queen Sindel, her mom, is like, oh, don't watch. And she still watches because that's her dad, and he's about to die, and he's looking at her, and she's looking at him. It's very sad. And then Shao Kahn's like, bam, just jams the end of the hammer through his body and just lifts him up. It's just like dead. Jared is dead. Katana's father dies. And that's it. Shao Kahn wins the tournament, so he takes over Edania, and everyone starts bowing, and Sindel, she bows, all the people around bow, but not Katana. She's just walking, and she's looking up like, and Shao Kahn's like, you shouldn't have been here to see this. Now you're my child. I am your father. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's the opening. But before that, I'm trying to remember, Jared gives her a necklace and puts it around her and says, if I'm not here, if I go, Raiden, God of Thunder, will watch over you. So she always has this Raiden magical necklace to talk to him and stuff in the future. You'll see. So that was there, and so the young girl Katana pulls the blue like blue sash from her dad, and she uses that and ties it on her hair. And that's Katana, the blue thing, part of her outfit. So then that goes away. That's the opening of Mortal Kombat, right? Very sad and dramatic, It's like, oh no. And then they go to Johnny, right? Here we are. We look at Johnny Cage here. Now what they show is the remember that crazy commercial trailer of was it Uncaged Fury, right? This little trailer here. You see the little trailer? So basically, you're watching the whole trailer in full screen, and it's just it's a nutty trailer. It's just a pure '80s action movie, over the top, and they show Johnny Cage with his, he turns and he like winks and he does the grin, and he's just fighting and throwing this bow staff and hitting everybody around. These stunt people are just flying. And then some guy knocks his glasses off, and he goes, he does some flips, grabs the glasses, puts them on, does a finger, and he just starts beating them all up. And then at the very end, this lady's got a rocket launcher, and she shoots it. Well, first, Johnny grabs the staff and throws it at her shoulder and goes through her, and she's like, oh. And then she still shoots the rocket. Johnny Cage does a splits in the air, and the rocket flies and blows up a helicopter. It's just nuts. And then the camera zooms out, and it's just that little TV there. And then they show Johnny Cage, right? He's at a Comic-Con convention. He's got all his merchandise and all his DVDs, there. And he's looking around, and all these other booths got all these kids and all these crazy fans just hooting and hollering and trying to get autographs and pictures. And Johnny's like, man, I wish I had that still. So yeah, he's kind of washed up now. He hasn't really made any movies, and he's just trying to make him a little cash off of what he did in the past. So yeah, that's unfortunately our Johnny Cage right there. And then let me see if we can move up a little bit. Yeah, there he is, looking like, I wish I had all the fame and stardom and fans clamoring for me. And that leads to a part where he's in the parking lot and he's just putting all his stuff in the back of the trunk, and he's like, I'm out of here. And his license plate is something like, I forget what his license plate said. Something Johnny Cage-esque. Hold on, I got some kind of weird thing going on my computer right now. All right. And okay, get out of here. Not now. Get out of here. All right, sorry about that. So anyway, he's in the underground parking lot, and he's putting all his stuff away in his car. The hood's open, and he's trying to stuff. And all of a sudden, Raiden and Sonya say, Johnny Cage. He's got that heavy accent, Raiden. Johnny Cage. And he's just like, all right, I'm out of here. Unless there's cash involved, I'm not signing anything or any pictures or whatnot. And they're telling him like the fate of the universe rests on his help, and he's been chosen to fight in this tournament. And he's like, nah, I ain't got time for this crap. Go away. And Sonya's like, Sonya says to Raiden, you got to show him. So then Raiden does the thing, and he's lightning flying out of his fingers, and it lights up the whole parking lot, and this portal appears of lightning. And Johnny's like, how you doing that? What is that? He's like, well, hey, you got to come with us, and we'll show you. And then, Johnny walks through the portal, and I really wish they would have showed him close the trunk before he walks into a portal to leave wherever he's at. I mean, that's all your stuff just hanging out of your car. So at least you could have shut the dang door. But anyway, he doesn't shut the door, and he walks through the portal. Then he arrives in some other place on Earth, and it's basically Raiden's sky temple. Still on Earth, but it's in the mountains, and it's a sky temple. It looks beautiful and all that stuff. And then, he's just like, what's going on? Talking about the tournament and things like that. Like, hey, you've been chosen. Here's the other people. I think Jax was there, Cole, Sonya, Liu Kang, Raiden, they're all there talking. And we needed you because Kung Lao died, right? Kung Lao died in the last movie, so we need to fill this spot, and that's where you come in. You're going to fill in for our team to battle in this tournament and save everything. And he's like, yeah, right. I'm out of here. Send me back. And him and Sonya talk about, it's really important. You need to, think about where you've been, where you've come from. And Johnny's just like, I'm washed up. I'm not that guy anymore. That was just acting. I'm not a fighter. And Sonya's like, I've seen your stuff. I've seen you in tournaments, and you were damn good. You just stop doing that stuff. So think about it. I mean, you got it in you. There's a reason why we picked you. You got something. He's like, nah, So then he goes back in the portal and he leaves, right? So that's when he's in the bar scene, getting a drink. As far as this, so this right here is, as you notice, those are the Scorpion's kunai from the very first movie when he was gardening. Of course, he has it there. Gardening is a beautiful netherrealm paradise, little patch of paradise that he creates. So I'm just going through this trailer basically. All right, what's next? So we're moving on here. So yeah, that's when Johnny's in the bar, and he's like, "Uno mas, Ed," and then Ed Boon is the bartender, and he's just like, "Johnny, this is not like you. I'm used to seeing you so animated," all this stuff. And then there's this guy down the bar. He's like, Johnny Cage? Is that you? Oh my God, I love your movies. I mean, you're amazing. Gosh, man. And Johnny's like, nah, that's not me no more. I ain't doing all that. If you guys, all you want is, Keanu Reeves, killing a bunch of people with a pencil, referring to the John Wick stuff. And not me. I'm washed up. You don't want me no more. He's like, man, yeah, I do. I'm a huge fan of all this stuff. And Johnny's just so down in the dumps. He's like, just get out of here. I don't need you anymore and stuff. The fan's like, it's almost like that's his last fan on Earth. And he just pissed him off and he just like, wow. And he leaves and Johnny's like, maybe I shouldn't just, whatever. And he's just still drinking. And then all of a sudden, the tournament's starting, right? and he's been chosen. So it doesn't matter where he is. When it's the tournament starts and you're picked, you're teleporting out of there. So basically, Johnny Cage teleports out of the bar and goes into the tournament. And of course, rewinding a little bit, they do show a scene of Katana and Jade sparring each other in the beautiful living forest. Now, throughout the movie, they're showing backgrounds in these scenes that are from the video game. Living forest, the pit, the portal, Nether realm, Dania. I'm not sure if they showed Outworld yet. I don't think so. But yeah, so Jade and Katana, just beautiful. You're beautiful actresses. My goodness. And they're sparring and doing some really cool moves. And Jade's got her staff and she's back and forth and all these things. And Katana's flipping around and stuff. And she's got these two little sticks and she's throwing the sticks and using those as weapons. And then she loses the sticks. And then she tries to go after them. And Jade's like, nah, you know. And Jade's been her bodyguard, basically. She's been appointed her bodyguard for, I don't know, 20 years or something like that. So that's Jade, what she's all about with Katana. And then Katana's like, no, I'm not done yet. And so he takes her blue sash that she used since she was a little girl. And she uses that as a weapon. And she's flipping around and grabbing the staff with it. And then she rings up and she turns up and grabs Jade like, I got you. It's like, oh, all right. Then they let go. And that's just a little banter back and forth. So that was nice to set up their relationship. And then they walk on and then, they go into a throne room where Shao Kahn is sitting, his throne, his awesome throne. And he's sitting in this chair. And then next to him is Sindel. And she's all zombified. Like she's just like a zombie queen. Black eyes, some veins in her face, so pale looking. And she's basically just gave up her soul to be with Shao Kahn and stuff. And she's been turned evil and stuff like that. So she's in her chair. And then you got all the soldiers around and stuff. And it's a beautiful throne room for Shao Kahn. It's awesome. And then they walk up and they're talking about something and the tournament's starting, blah, blah, blah. And she's the first, right? Katana is going to be the first one into the tournament. So then that goes to Katana and Johnny Cage. They end up, and then Johnny's like, hey, babe, what's going on? And then Katana's like with her fans. Oh, by the way, Jade gives Katana her fans. That's where her fans came from, is Jade gave it to her. So she's able to, do the fan stuff. So that's the beginning of the tournament. Is Johnny Cage and Katana. He's like, hey, babe, how's it going? And then Katana's like, it's time to fight. Let's go. Then she puts on her mask. It forms around her face. She looks awesome. Her outfit's great. Mask, fans, all blue outfit, perfect. So she's going after Johnny, and they're fighting throughout this little town area, through buildings and on the rooftops. And Johnny's like, hey, watch out. What are you doing? Hey, I'm not going to hit a girl, blah, blah, blah. So then they try to fight a little bit, but Katana's just way better than him, obviously. And she does some cool-ass fan moves in slow motion where the fan is spinning in front of Johnny Cage's face, like levitating, and Johnny's like, whoa. And then Katana does this roundhouse kick and kicks the fan against the wall. And Johnny's trying to dodge as much as he can, but he gets beat up. Katana whoops his ass, and it was an awesome fight. And then Shao Kahn's actually watching this fight. And that's the infamous, famous line where Shao Kahn goes, finish him, right? And they show Johnny Cage is like, he's in that dazed state. Before you finish him, Johnny Cage is like this, and Katana looks at Shao Kahn and then she was hesitating, and then Johnny Cage just falls down. And then they show there's 5 markers. There's 5 blue markers and 5 red markers in the sky representing the fighters for the tournament. And then poof, one of the blue symbols fade. Now it's Johnny Cage. He lost. So that was that first fight. Anyway, from there, trying to think from that point on, Katana with her necklace, she teleports to Raiden's temple and talks to him about what's going on in Edenia with Shao Kahn. And it turns out that they brought back Kano. Quan Chi resurrects Kano from the dead because Kano stole Shinnok's amulet from the first movie, from the temple. So they need that that amulet and try to infuse it with Raiden's godlike powers to make Shao Kahn immortal so they could cheat. Are you kidding me? So that was their plan, bringing Kano back. And by the way, Kano was an absolute laugh out loud hysteria throughout the movie. He was cracking jokes. He was ripping on all these people, making fun of them, doing Kano stuff from the first movie, but like times 3. It was funny as hell. And he wants a new eye, of course, and he's like friggin' begging and just annoying Quan Chi to the point where he's like, God, fine. And he forms this eye and just chucks it at him, and it rolls on the ground underneath Kano's foot. And he's like, oh, geez, fine. He wipes it off and he throws it in his eye, and he tests out his laser beam, and it still works through it. I was really hoping that he would have got the metal plate and red eye that we all want Kano to be. But I think, you know what? I think you wait for the plate and the red eye when he shaves his head bald, and then we get the real look of Kano. Because right now he still has his hair. So having a plate there really doesn't complete the look. He's got to be bald, and then you put the patch. And he's also, Kano's got to become the leader of the Black Dragon, right? He hasn't done that yet. He's just Kano. He's just a dude. He's just a guy that makes fun of people, and he's got a laser eye. That's really not truly Kano. So they still have to evolve his character. That's what's great about Mortal Kombat right now. Even though we know what goes on with these characters, you can't get it all right now. You just can't throw it all right now. You have to build up to it. That's the beauty of this Mortal Kombat franchise. Is 30 years of story of these characters, and we only have, 3 hours and 50 minutes so far out of 2 movies. Almost 4 hours, not quite. So we have to embrace the journey and build this universe properly, not dump it all out just to dump it all out, because then it takes away the magic of these characters and where they come from and how they really are, the way we want them to be. So I'm not picking on Mortal Kombat for that right now, because I don't want to rush this, man. I want them they have to get the core filming, heart, fighting, music, outfits, costumes, effects. They got to get that down and then build from there. So I'm very excited to see what the future holds. So I'm not worried about the Kano stuff right now, the plate and all that, because they got to build up to that. So they bring him back, and then they get the amulet, and in order to power that thing, you got to get to Raiden. So, so then of course Quan Chi, he resurrects Kung Lao, right? He brings back Kung Lao as a revenant. And revenants are basically zombified evil versions of themselves. Yeah, and they're evil, let me tell you. So I think after that, then, so where are we going? So we got the amulet, the Shinnok's amulet. We got to get the power of Raiden to power the jewel in that amulet to give Shao Kahn all the god powers so he can be immortal. So bring back Kung Lao. And now we fast forward to how to get Raiden's powers into that amulet. So what happens is Kung Lao finds Raiden's temple, because obviously he knows where it is. He gets there, and then his hat teleports like instantaneously next to Raiden's throat and slices Raiden's throat open. And all you see is this light flying out of his throat in this crazy ass dramatic scene. Like it's just like on the ground, like crawling away with this light flying out of his mouth or his neck. And everyone's like, what the hell is happening in slow-mo? And then all of a sudden they teleport out of there because the tournament's still going. So Jax teleports out of there, and Liu Kang teleports out of there. Sonya teleports out of there. And then it's just Raiden, and Shang Tsung gets in there, and he starts taking souls of Raiden, right? Taking his soul, and he gets interrupted by, I think, like Sonya with the rings before she teleports. So that ruined that, but then Johnny Cage comes in to try to beat up Shang Tsung, and Johnny Cage is not Johnny Cage. He's just still the actor. So then Shang Tsung's like, I'm gonna take your soul. And as he's taking Johnny Cage's soul, it's green. Like it's like the green aura of Johnny Cage. And we just see it for a moment. But then something else happened to Shang Tsung, and he still has to go after Raiden and take his soul as much as possible. And then I'm a blank. Something interrupts that at the last second, and then Shang Tsung gets the hell out of there. But he has enough of Raiden's power and soul that he infuses the amulet and charges it up, and he gets the heck out of there. And then he goes, of course, to Shao Kahn, and he puts the amulet in his chest. And you see these effects going on with Shao Kahn, and he absorbs the power, and now he's an immortal god, basically. I was hoping that his eyes would go a little bit more red as that was happening to see this power flowing through him. But anyway, Shao Kahn's immortal. He's a god, basically, with this amulet. All right, so that's going on. So now we're in the tournament, right? We still have some more rounds of fighting. So here we go. Now, the next fight is going to be Sonya versus Queen Sindel. Now, they're showing the backgrounds before the fight. So this one, you're looking upward and you see a pillar of spikes looking up, and it's very brief. It's like a 3-second thing when you're looking up, and I think there's a slight bridge. I'd have to freeze frame it again when I see it a third time. I think they show a bridge way up there, but then they show this pillar, and then the camera just goes down, and then you're in like this small enclosed area with the pillar here with the spikes, and there's bodies kind of hanging up here and there. And then you see Sonya and Sindel are talking and stuff, a little bit of banter there. And then the fight begins. Sonya's, I got the rings I'm going to show you. And then Sindel's like, well, let me show you something. So basically, when Sindel does her power, she has one move. Basically, it's her scream. But what I like before she does her scream, Sindel does this cool little hand animation and puts her hands down before she screams, which is a really cool effect. It looked great. Like the manipulation of the wind out of her mouth and it's flying. And so she hits Sonya and she goes flying. And then she's trying to dodge the screaming because Sindel's still screaming at her and Sonya's running around. And then Sonya grabs this corpse on the ground and tries to get closer to Sindel. And as she's screaming, you see this corpse deteriorate from guts and blood and skeleton because it's getting ripped apart. And then she finally gets to her and they're doing some fighting. And then all of a sudden, you see these spikes randomly come out of the floor as they're fighting. So you got to be very careful. And she got cut. Sonya got cut. And then she's doing some wrestling moves with Sindel on the ground. And she's about to throw Sindel on the spike. And then Sindel's like goes, bah! And she screams on the spike and pushes her body back. And they're flying backwards and they're fighting still. And then finally, Sonya does the OP move of hers. This is the thing I don't like about Sonya. She's beautiful. She's badass. She's a core fighter, a core character of the team. But when she shoots those rings, they immediately blast through someone. So like in the first movie, she killed Melina very easily. Plep, plep. That's it. She's done. Now she does the same thing with Sindel. Blut, blut. Shoots her in the chest. She's dead. But then she does her patented leg flip. Like video game leg flip. And she flips Sindel in the air onto a spike that goes through her freaking face. And then she's limp there, and you can see her eyeball bulge a little bit on the spike. So I really hope they kind of nerf down the rings a little bit so she can use those as projectiles a little bit before she kills them. So anyway, that's a small little gripe about Sonya. Great fighter. She's more of a hand-to-hand not hand-to-hand. She's more of a grappling kind of a style that I've noticed. Rings and grappling style. That's Sonya's fighting style. But overall, it was a better fight the second time. I thought the first one was kind of brief, but I saw it a second time, so I kind of just settled down a little bit and watched. And it was a better fight the second time. I'd say probably that Sindel Sonya is the weakest fight of the movie, to be honest with you. Yeah. So after that, then we're looking at Shao Kahn versus Cole Young. Now you know Cole Young. Cole Young was supposed to be our Johnny Cage from the first movie. So I think a lot of us wanted him to die. So anyway, before they set up the fight of Cole Young. Yeah, I forgot about Cole Young. He was in the fight with the Raiden and the Shao Kahn, or Shang Tsung and Kung Lao, trying to get the powers. I think he did a couple moves before he teleported out of there. So anyway, they set up the background of this fight, and it's the Deadpool stage. Now, guys, this looked amazing. The Deadpool stage was beautiful. They had a strip of a platform with the acid on both sides, and the background you can see the cages and the bodies hanging and stuff, and the bubbling of the acid. And then they show a close up of one of the spikes when Cole was walking towards it. Absolutely perfect. And then they show Shao Kahn, of course, and then they start fighting. Awesome fight. Since Cole Young's got the plot armor, Shao Kahn was hitting him with the hammer, and it was just like absorbing into his body, and he was still fighting, making him stronger. And he was forming these, what do you call them, tofas or some kind of weapon that he uses out of his hands or forearms. Then he's fighting Shao Kahn. It was a great fight. And Cole was stabbing Shao Kahn, boom, stabbing him. He slits Shao Kahn's throat, and then he puts a spike baton through Shao Kahn's chest, and then Cole Young uses his other arm, and he bashes the weapon through Shao Kahn's chest, and you see it flying out of Shao Kahn's back. It was absolutely awesome. I'm like, holy shit, Cole Young, you're a badass. And he looked awesome. It was his best fight for sure. And then all of a sudden, Shao Kahn's like, knocks him off, and he's like, oh. And the throat, his throat came back together, it healed, and then the freaking staff thing healed. And he's looking at him like, and I think Cole's like, what the hell? And Shao Kahn just hits him once. I mean, literally just hit him once. Cole is on his back for a second, and before he can even react, Shao Kahn takes the hammer and just bashes Cole Young's head into a splatter like a tomato paste all over the platform, blood everywhere. And then Shao Kahn uses his hammer like a broom and pushes Cole's limp ass dead body into the acid. And that's it for Cole Young. Completely destroyed. Oh my God, it was a glorious end to Cole Young. I wonder if they even show it here. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. So maybe I should. Okay, so let me scan through this trailer to see if I can find clips of the movie that I'm talking about. So obviously, this is the part where Johnny Cage is putting his stuff into his trunk, trying to get the hell out of there, and Sonya's like, "Raiden, show him." And then he looks, he's like, "What the hell?" Like, yeah, see, that's your power there. Johnny's like, "What the heck is this light coming from?" And he's like, "Yeah, you got to come with me." And then he walks through the portal, right? He walks through the portal, and then he ends up on the other side. Where the hell am I? And then and those are those represent the Earth Realm warriors and the Edenia warriors, right? So blue and red. So that's the kind of the scoreboard of the tournament. So yeah, let me show you that. Now that is Shao Kahn, guys. That is the look of Shao Kahn. Absolute badass. Awesome. He's got scales for skin. There's no like normal looking dude under there. This is all nasty and looks great. Brute muscles, shoulders, legs, all the armor. The hammer looks so heavy, but the helmet made it, and those red eyes, that's what sold it for me. Absolutely amazing. Love it. So I'm trying to find bits and pieces where I can talk about it in order. Kind of want to talk about this stuff in order with you. Right, so that was the fight with Katana and Johnny Cage. This is the first fight you see. And she's reluctant. She doesn't want to kill him, obviously, because she's on his side, But she looks so badass with that mask on. And this is the part where she does that roundhouse kick to that levitating fan and just kicks it past Johnny Cage. And he's like, whoa! Yeah, right into the wall the fan goes. Yeah, there's Johnny looking at himself like, I'm washed up. I'm nobody. I used to be incredible. Now look at me. I'm in a bar by myself with no fans. Nobody even knows who I am anymore. Uno mas, Ed. Yep. And there is Ed Boon. It's so awesome. He did a great job, by the way. The co-creator of Mortal Kombat, 30 years now, and there he is in a movie. It's fantastic. I hope he becomes like the Stan Lee of the Mortal Kombat universe, so he always pops up in movies in different scenes. That'd be awesome. So anyway, incredible fight with Katana and Johnny Cage in this little town area. And yeah, this is the Living Forest, and this is where they show Jade and Katana just sparring. A friendly spar, to set up their friendship. And there is Quan Chi, right? And this is Quan Chi, one of the nasty sorcerers that he resurrects Kano to get that amulet, and Katana and Jade are like, what the heck's going on here? And he just tells them, I'm getting the amulet of Shinnok for Shao Kahn. And their outfits look great, by the way. The green Jade and the Katana, fantastic. All the outfits look pretty good. Could be a little better, of course, but I mean, hey, I'm not complaining. All right, let's see where else I can go here. Okay, I think we are, hold on. Nope. I want to show Jax. All right. So yeah, Shao Kahn kills Cole Young. And then the next fight is going to be Jax versus Jade. Right? And they're fighting in this town area as well. And let me tell you, Jax fight's awesome. I love the way his arms look, the way they sound, complete metal and badass, powerful. And he's fighting Jade, and it was a nice fight. And he's just kind of flirting with her a little bit, It was kind of cool to see that. But I think Katana asked Jax to go easy on Jade. Don't make her suffer too much because, Katana saved, Johnny Cage. So whoever's fighting Jade, can you be nice? Not kill him, just defeat him. That's it. So great fight. And I love the part where Jax grabs Jade's staff and then bashes it. And normally Jax would have destroyed that stick. I mean, but when he hits it, it reminded me of Captain America absorbing Thor's hammer. It kind of did that where it glowed green. And Jax is like, whoa, what you got here? What's this magical stick you got and whatever? So it was a really cool fight. So basically Jax beats Jade, spares her, and says, hey, I'm just returning the favor. Now we're even, kind of thing. So that was a fight there. So now we're moving on to a very, very important fight here. Oh, Liu Kang. Oh my gosh, Liu Kang. So badass. All right, here we go. Now, this is the fight of the movie. Liu Kang versus Kung Lao. This fight was absolutely amazing. I'm trying to find if there's any more. Oh, just this portal stage. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. Especially in IMAX when it opens up, the top and bottom, and you see more of it. It's just gorgeous. But then, Liu Kang is like, you're alive. Like, you're my brother, right? Like brothers. And Kung Lao's like, no, I will show you, and I'll make you see the ways of Shao Kahn and all this stuff. So they're fighting, and let me tell you guys, Kung Lao is such a badass. His hat looks perfect. It's super sharp, razor thing. It looks great on him. He looks fantastic. He's got these black eyes. He's a revenant. Looks awesome. But when he fights, these hand gestures he does, and he calls the fan with his hands, and he calls it, and he's able to like move it around. It's flying around the scene while they're fighting each other. Let me tell you, the hand-to-hand combat, the flying, Liu Kang, the fire, and then Kung Lao with the hat, and he's like dodging because the hat's flying around while they're fighting. The choreography is so stunning, and the camera work is so cool while they're fighting, and the sound as you hear this hat flying around, and then Kung Lao puts the hat on, he blocks Liu Kang, he throws it again, and it lands on the ground, and it spins, and then while Kung Lao is fighting Liu Kang and got him in a hold, he looks at the hat and does this hand thing and calls the fan back while he's fighting. I love this fight so much. It's so freaking cool. So, and the while Kung Lao, Liu Kang is holding back because he wants to help his friend. He wants to like free him from this evil curse that he's under, and trying to knock some sense into him. But Kung Lao is like, no, you're gonna die, and I'm gonna show you my ways and stuff like that. So Liu Kang's like, don't make me do this. And you can see he's emotional. He doesn't want to do this, right? But he's like, you leave me no choice. And then all of a sudden, Liu Kang just fucking starts going back at him, doing flying kicks and throwing fireballs, and he's burning the hat and burning Kung Lao a little bit, and then while they're fighting, Liu Kang is like bashing the hat and spinning it outward and like blocking it and stuff. And then finally, Liu Kang like hits it into the ground, right? And then Kung Lao's trying to call it back, and then the hat would spin a little bit, but it's like stuck into the ground. And then Liu Kang's just like, don't do it, man. Just don't do it. Please stop. And Kung Lao's like, no. And then Kung Lao just like flies at him, and he hits Liu Kang, because this is what Liu Kang wanted. So he hits Liu Kang. Liu Kang flies back, but then grabs Kung Lao and then drags him onto the spinning hat on the ground. And the hat just cuts right into Kung Lao on the ground, just grinding him up, blood flying all over the place. And Liu Kang is just holding him there, like, just like, why did you make me do this? Blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, I'm gonna save you. I'm gonna save you, Kung Lao. I'm gonna get you back somehow, some way, and bring Kung Lao back. And then Kung Lao, he dies. And that was just an epic fight. You got to see it in IMAX. It just looks so incredible. And the portal, it shifts from blue to red. It's super cool, the transition of the colors in the portal while they're fighting. But it's just incredible. Oh, just awesome. So anyway, fight of the movies right there. Bam. So then, after that, basically, and what I love seeing is Shao Kahn fighting. I didn't think he'd fight that much. I mean, I thought Shao Kahn would be sitting in his throne room, directing and barking orders to everybody, and he'd just be the main guy at the end. No. You see Shao Kahn fight throughout the movie. It's just amazing. So yeah, that's really cool. All right, so now that Shao Kahn's got the god powers, the amulet's supercharged. They put it. So Shao Kahn puts it in this cage, and it like closes up, and it locks the amulet in this cage in the throne room. So that's where it's sealed. And the plan from so Kano comes in, and he kills the guards that are following, because Kano is supposed to like help someone or whatever. But he basically reveals that, hey, I don't want these guys to win the tournament, because I want to go back to Earth, and I want to drink beer, and I want to do all this nasty stuff, and this 3-way, 4-way, foursome, threesome, foursome, all this stuff. And Kano's just hilarious, right? So he wants to help Earthrealm. So he goes on Earthrealm side and says, hey, the plan is to get this amulet and destroy it, and then kill Shao Kahn so we can go back and party at home or something like that. So as that's going on, Shao Kahn is like, Quan Chi, we need to hide this, we need to take the amulet out of here. Or before that, hold on. Kano's plan was to get the amulet and destroy it, right? That's the plan. So then they form okay, so now I'm rewinding, obviously. All right. So in order to get the amulet, you got to get into the temple or the castle where Shao Kahn is. But of course, it's guarded by an army, right? He's got an army guarding the palace. You can't just walk up to the front door. So Katana's like, there is a secret passage underground to where we can get to the amulet. But you got to go through the Tarkatan area to get to it. And they're like, what the hell is like a Tarkatan? And that's where Baraka lives. So let me see if I can find a spot of Baraka. I don't know if they show. Do they show Baraka anywhere? All right. Well, you've seen Baraka. Baraka's got all these teeth, and he's got these blades coming out of his forearms. He's nasty. He's pissed. So this is the Tarkatan village. So the plan is we got to convince the Tarkatans to let us use the underground tunnel to get to the fortress and get the amulet. So the idea was Liu Kang was going to challenge Baraka in order to pass, right? So these two little Tarkatan kids, they run up to Baraka, and Baraka's sitting in this chair, and he looks, he turns, and his his teeth look great. The effects, the practical effects they did with the teeth and the mouth was awesome, with the eyes, and he would talk, and so he was badass. Baraka was cool. So he's like, I'm not going to help you guys. You guys are just a bunch of idiots. You're not going to take on Shao Kahn and his army. I don't give a crap about you. Leave me alone. And then Johnny Cage is like, oh, okay, so you're just a coward, you're just a pussy, right? Basically, that's what you guys are, right? Because you're going to think back when Liu Kang, the greatest champion of Earthrealm, wins the tournament and he saves everybody. You could have had the chance to fight him, but you cowered out, and that's what you are. And then so Brock is like, He turns around, he goes down to Liu Kang, and then Liu Kang's all right, here we go. And thanks for pissing him off, Johnny. And Liu Kang's ready to fight. And then Brock is like, no, not you. I want to fight you. He looks at Johnny Cage, and Johnny's like, what the hell? Not me? What do you mean? I'm not. He's like, you're annoying. So I just want to fight you. And then so that's when Johnny's like, guys, what the hell here? I'm not a fighter. I'm not a fighter. I'm just an actor. And Sonya's like, well, then act. Right? So then Brock is trying to kill him. So Johnny's running around, and Brock is shooting the friggin' blades out of his arms. He's trying to kill him, and they're going back and forth. And then Johnny Cage runs into one of those little huts, and there's two little kids that are sitting there, and they turn and look, and of course the kids have these teeth, and Johnny's like, ugh. So he goes around the corner, and he hides behind a sheet, and he goes, shh. And then Brock is like, where is he? And the kids go. And Johnny's like, damn it. So then they start fighting again. Brock throws him in the air, and he smashes through the roof and flies out, and he gets hit. And then all of a sudden you see the glasses fly out of Johnny Cage's jacket. And Johnny Cage is like, and he looks, he's like, come on, you could do this. And then Johnny Cage, he grabs those glasses, puts them on. It's showtime. And that's when Johnny Cage becomes the actor and starts kicking ass. And then when you see him just believe that he's enacting this stuff, he's doing these kicks and he's doing these punch. And then he does this thing where he's like waving his arms like this. And then Brock is trying to cut him and he can't. And then Brock is looking like, how are you doing this? Blocking my stuff. And Johnny Cage does this other things. And then he does the splits and bah, just crunches the nuts of Baraka. And then it was just an awesome fight, guys. It was really funny. It was adventurous throughout this thing. And that's when we see Johnny Cage become Johnny Cage. So then Baraka is just so amazed. Please teach me your ways, Master Johnny fucking Cage. It was just great. So then they agreed, Johnny Cage was said, I'll promise I'll come back to teach you, but I need you to help me first. Let us go through this passage. And that's when Baraka, kills all the guards and says, I can't go any further. We're not permitted past this point. And that's when they all go through the tunnel and get to the throne room, because they split up and they're, trying to find the throne room. So they find the throne. I think it was Liu Kang that found the throne room first. Let me see if I can find that spot somewhere. The throne room. The throne room. I don't think we get. I guess this is the closest spot. So this is where Liu Kang sees the amulet inside the little cage, and he's got to try to get it or break it. So he's trying to break it open, and that's when Shao Kahn comes in. He's like, "What are you doing?" And they start fighting. Liu Kang and Shao Kahn fighting. Hammer. He's doing that stuff to him, and so Liu Kang, when he sees him, he's like, "You know what? I'm not effing around with you. I'm just gonna kill you." Liu Kang summons up these two fire dragons. Huge fire dragons behind Liu Kang. And Liu Kang's like, I am the fire, I am the, something or other, and this is where you die or something like that. And he just shoots these dragons. These dragons fly at Shao Kahn, and Shao Kahn's blocking the fire. And he's just engulfed in fire, and it's beautiful effects. It's awesome. And you just can tell this fire is melting Shao Kahn. Literally, his flesh is starting to melt off. And then when the fire finally goes through, you can see Shao Kahn. His skin is basically melted, and it's reforming back because he's God, right? So normally toast, right? So then Liu Kang's like, what the, So that's okay. That's when they start fighting, and Shao Kahn's doing his shoulder attack, and he's hitting them, and then that's when Liu Kang hits the hammer out of Shao Kahn, and he tries to bash the cage to get the amulet free, and that's not working. And then finally, Jax finally arrives, and Sonya arrives, and they're all fighting Shao Kahn, and Shao Kahn bashes Sonya. She goes flying. She's knocked out. I think somehow Liu Kang gets knocked back. I don't know. I'm trying to. There's so much going on. The fight's incredible. So then all of a sudden it's Jax and Shao Kahn one-on-one, and Jax gets to the cage, and he's using his freaking arms, and he's starting to bend the cage. It's starting to open, right? It's starting to open up, and then all of a sudden Shao Kahn comes in, and they got to fight, and then all of a sudden, Shao Kahn rips one of Jax's arms off. Like, oh damn, still fighting, and then Jax is trying to beat him with one arm, trying to fight him, and Shao Kahn eventually overpowers Jax, slams him up against the wall, and then jabs the other end of the hammer right through his throat. Damn. And Liu Kang couldn't come back in time. I think Johnny Cage was in. Johnny Cage finally comes in there, and it's too late. Jax, he dies. Shao Kahn kills Jax. Awful. It just sucks. And then Jax falls down, and then I think somehow the cage was opening, but then before this happens, Shao Kahn told Shinnok to resurrect Bihan, because Bihan's in another realm. And that's when they show a new Cybot being born there. So then that was before. So then Shao Kahn says, Bihan, take the amulet to Netherrealm or something like that. So Bihan comes in, teleports, grabs the amulet before they can get him, and teleports out of there to Netherrealm. They go flying away. So yeah, at that point, my mind is foggy. How those guys get out of there with Shao Kahn. So yeah, that was going on there. But anyway, now we need to go to the Netherrealm, because that's where the amulet is. All right. So it's Johnny Cage and Kano using Raiden's like little power that they have, like he has left, to teleport them to the Netherrealm. And Raiden's like, if you die there, I can't bring you back. That's it. So just know that. So he sends Johnny Cage and Kano to the Netherrealm to get the amulet to try to destroy it. And I know Shang Tsung was gonna go to the Raiden to kill him once and for all in his weakened state. But Jade basically kind of turned on Katana, and Katana was captured. And then she was, instead of dying, I think Shao Kahn was about to kill Sindel. Like Shao Kahn had Sindel by the head, He was just basically gonna crush her skull, unless Katana told him where they were going. I'm a foggy. But Katana basically told Shao Kahn something that he needed to know and saved her mom. Okay, that's what's going on. Then Shao Kahn's like, tie her to the town post to let everybody know not to defy me. All right, so that's where that was. And Shao Kahn's like, great job, Jade. I didn't think you'd do that. Double cross your sister like that, but you become loyal. You are a loyal, person to me, kind of thing. But then I think what was going on is Jade was Jade was just yeah, there's the fight. Jade and Jax, great fight. And then she's wearing the masks too, which is great, really great. Yeah, so thinking about where I'm at right now, where I'm at. So yeah, it's Katana gets tied up there. Shao Kahn pleases Jade. But Jade now asks, she goes to Shang Tsung and she's like, you take care of Raiden, but send me to the Nether Realm so I can aid, Noob Saibot to make sure they don't get the amulet. And Shang Tsung's like, all right, well, I didn't think you'd turn on your sister like that, but all right, I'll send you there. Well, I go to take care of Raiden. So at that point, that's when Jade took her staff and bashed the end of it, because the end of it had a Shao Kahn little end piece on there. So she smashes that, and then the staff becomes full green, like a full glowing green stick, basically. So that's like her true power of that staff is all green. So then, yeah, basically, I think now we're at the point where we're at the Netherrealm part, and then we see Hanzo Hasashi. Where are we at? We are at, yeah, this part. So we're at this part right here. So Raiden sends them to the Netherrealm, and he's like, yeah, Raiden says that it's a fiery hell, basically. It's our hell, basically. It's fire, it's nasty, it's death. So then they're like, wow, this is pretty nice. I wouldn't mind staying here all the time. And Kano on the left there, he reaches and grabs a peach off the tree. And oh, this is the best ever. This is fantastic. Johnny, have a bite. Johnny's like, no. And he's like, they're asking Hanzo, we need your help. We need a guide to get the amulet, destroy it. And Hanzo's like, I don't want any part of that. I am at peace. Just sorry, I can't help you. And then all of a sudden, Kano's like, well, Bihan's alive, and he's in there. And that's when they show a flashback of Bihan killing his wife and child, and then killing him and all that stuff. And then he's like, well, I killed him. And I was like, but this is, that's not good. If Bihan's alive, then I need to do something about it. And that's when you see all of that disintegrate. It's basically an illusion, right? So if you're powerful enough, you can create an illusion in the Netherrealm, and that's what Hanzo did. And all of a sudden, everything just crumbles, and then you see him like become back to Scorpion, right? And then all of a sudden, that peach that Kano was holding became just nasty and black, and he's like coughing. Oh, it's funny. So yeah. So then you see this now the Netherrealm, and then he's back. Scorpion's back here, and then yeah, there's Bihan still dead as Sub-Zero, fried and left in another room, and that's when Quan Chi resurrect him as a Noob Saibot. So now we're in the Netherrealm, right? And they're fighting. You see Noob Saibot. He comes up and he's got his shadow clone, and he says, "I am reborn" to Scorpion, and Scorpion's fighting him. And then Kano and Johnny Cage are fighting the shadow clone to try to get the amulet from the shadow guy. And the effects is amazing, of the shadow and Noob Saibot and Scorpion. Oh, I love that. The double spear. Get over here, right? The classic new, Scorpion sound. Pull him in. Yeah, that's okay. There's Jared fighting Shao Kahn in the very beginning, and that's when Jared just slams a knife right into Shao Kahn's armpit. It was just looking nasty. Yeah, there's a fight of Cinda. Oh my! And look, this fight is worth the price of admission. Just go see this movie for this fight, and everything else is just icing on the cake. Oh yeah. This is coming up here. This is important fight right here. Yeah, that's important fight. Yep, that's in the Tarkatan. Yep, that's Katana fighting. Johnny's like, oh. Love that roundhouse kick. Fan into the wall. Love it. Uno mas. Let me get some NetherRealm stuff because that's where we're at right now. Oh, there. Look at Deadpool, right? Just awesome Deadpool. And IMAX, you see more on top, more on bottom. But that's Cole Young. His whole body is glowing because he's absorbing all these hits. And he just does this fatal slash. Slashes Shao Kahn's throat. Any kill. It would have been a kill from anybody. It was awesome fight. But then it doesn't matter. And this is when Jade gets teleported in from Shang Tsung. And she's got her glowing stick because she broke it, and now it's the real staff. That's what the true form of her staff. No, we can't see that yet. All right, we can't see that. We got to see. Here we go. Ooh, I just love it. Look at this stuff. Yep, and there's the Sonya Sindel fight, and you see the spikes coming out of the floor there. You got to be super careful where they're fighting. And there's Baraka Johnny Cage fight, just funny, awesome fight. And then, yeah. Oh, yeah. There he is. There's Baraka. Yeah, he's pissed. And there's of course the NetherRealm, and that's Noob Saibot. Oh, he looks absolutely perfect. Just look at Mortal Kombat 11, Noob Saibot. That is exactly what you're seeing right here. It did it flawlessly, perfect with the 2 sickles and everything. It was amazing. And of course, Scorpion. I just wish maybe he had a little bit more white eyes. You know, like Noob Saibot, his eyes are pure white, beautiful. I just wish they would have did maybe no pupil in his eyes. Who knows what's going to happen to Scorpion in the future movies like that? I mean, come on, picture, perfect. Noob Saibot, beautiful, just badass, man, absolutely badass, fighting in another realm. He's like, I am reborn, just super awesome. So yeah, so you see the Shadow Clone and Noob fighting Scorpion 2-on-1. It's just badass. Scorpion's blocking the attacks, doing these sword whips and stuff. Look, he's blocking both sickles. Just love it. So this is definitely the second best fight for sure. Oh, I just love it. Just love it. My guy Scorpion. And this is when Scorpion does the breakdance double spear move. Just sick. He shoots out the spear, and the end of it opens up, and then he does a breakdance slicerama, and the stuff just whips around and hits them both. I mean, come on. Oh, oh my God, he cuts both their legs. So cool. And by the way, NetherRealm, awesome. Fire, brimstone, death. Oh, it's awesome everywhere. Super cool fight. Scorpion. What else we got? Anything else here? No. Okay. All right. So, let me find the Johnny Cage. Where is it? There we go. Okay. So Kano's fighting the Shadow, trying to get the amulet off of this Shadow. He uses eye blast laser, and it cuts off, and it falls. And then he tries to grab it, but then he falls off the edge, and he's holding on with the knife, so he's stuck. And then Johnny Cage is trying to get it, and then Johnny Cage gets it, the amulet, but then the Shadow grabs his arm, and Johnny's looking around like, oh man, what am I gonna do? So he finds a way, and he kicks off of the Shadow, and he falls down with the amulet, and then lands. So he's like, oh, he's unconscious almost basically, but the amulet's down there with him. So then more fighting with Scorpion, and then Scorpion, like he throws out both spears, right? And he says, come over, get over here. And the body flies, but then Noob, he separates from his Shadow, right? He sacrifices himself with the Shadow. He flies back. The Shadow comes in towards Scorpion. Scorpion grabs the sword and splits the Shadow in half in this epic pose at the end. Absolutely beautiful. And then Noob Saibot looks at his Shadow like, no, like, I killed you. I'm so sorry. And then he's like, see ya. Disappears, right? But then Noob Saibot reappears, grabs the amulet, and that's when Kano blasts him. And then I think someone else has blasted him. So it's Kano. And then Jade is down there. Yeah, I think that's where Jade. So Jade with her staff, she's shooting. She's shooting Noob Saibot, holding the amulet. Kano with his eye, blasting Noob Saibot with the amulet. And then Scorpion reappears behind him and it takes his mask off. And then freaking fire breath. So you got the fire, the Jade, and Kano just blasting Noob with this amulet. Like he's just, oh. And then all of a sudden, I think Raiden, because Shang Tsung is in Raiden's temple about to kill him. And Raiden's like, Johnny Cage or something like that. And Johnny wakes up off the floor. He's like, give me these glasses. And that's when Johnny puts the glasses on. And he's like full, like you got the touch, you got the power, or you got the glow from what the heck's the movie called? Show Enough, Dragon Guy. Can't remember it right now, but he got the yellow aura. Now Johnny has the green aura. He is full-blown Johnny Cage. He grabs the glasses, puts them on, and then he uses his shadow kick, the green shadow kick, and flies towards Noob, bursts the amulet with the shadow kick. And that's when Raiden gets his powers back. There we go. That's when Raiden gets his power back. His neck is healed. And Shang Tsung's like, uh-oh. And then Raiden's like, you should run. Or something like that. And then he's like, yeah, there's Shang Tsung right there. And this is when Raiden goes, and then blasts him, right? So he takes care of him. And then that's when Shao Kahn, he loses his powers, which I got to look for now. Where is it? I think it's right here. Okay. So Liu Kang is fighting Shao Kahn. So he's fighting Shao Kahn as long as he can to buy time, while they're fighting in Leverum to get the amulet. Liu Kang's fighting Shao Kahn. It's an awesome epic battle, of course. But because Shao Kahn's still a god, Shao Kahn, of course, happens to get Liu Kang in the gut, cut him, and then Liu Kang's like, oh, like Liu Kang's not looking too good. But then all of a sudden, Liu Kang, his eyes go red. Like, it looked awesome. He looked so cool. He's like, this is not my time. I'm not supposed to beat you. I have another destiny or something like that. Someone else is going to defeat you or something, in other words. So then Liu Kang, he rises up and becomes like a fire god and flies away because he's got to go rescue Kung Lao. That's his destiny. He's going to get Kung Lao. So then Sonya's there, and Liu Kang's like, Sonya, you got to free Katana, because Katana's just hung up there on the freaking post in chains. So I think Sonya finally wakes up because I think she was fighting and she got knocked out again. She uses her rings and blasts Katana free, right? So now Katana's free, and I think Shao Kahn says, the tournament's over, we won, or something like that. And then that's when Katana says, I renounce you, I have nothing to do with you, I fight for Earthrealm. And that's when the scoreboard thing changes, and then it's blue and red. It was two reds, but it's blue and red. So now that's when Katana's fighting Shao Kahn. And of course, Shao Kahn's still a god because this is going on while they're trying to destroy the amulet. So a great fight, back and forth, and Katana is using her fans, awesome fans by the way, and she's cutting up Shao Kahn. It was awesome. And then back and forth. It was an awesome fight, right? Very emotional because Katana is just like all this hatred from a little girl where Shao Kahn killed her dad. I mean, finally she gets to fight his ass and try to kill his ass. So back and forth, and then Katana does this flying move, and she cuts Shao Kahn in the neck right after the amulet and the powers left Shao Kahn. And then all of a sudden Shao Kahn goes down and he grabs his throat and he looks at his hand, it's blood. He's like, uh-oh, right? No god powers here. Blood running down his chest and his hands. And Katana's doing some more moves on him, and you think Katana's about to win, but then Shao Kahn's still like, he grabs Katana by the throat and he's going to choke her like, you're worthless like your father, or weak like your father, or something like that. And he's choking the life out of Katana, and the camera's just looking at Katana's face, and she's just fading. And then all of a sudden, there's some voices from her dad and the flashback, and Katana just wakes up, and she is pissed, and she does some more stuff, and she cuts the mask with her fans. I'm sure I saw it in the trailer. So she spins her fan, and it cuts Shao Kahn's helmet. And then she does a move where she takes the helmet off and shows everybody that he's mortal now. And when she takes his mask off, you can see Shao Kahn's face briefly, but you see his face, and he's like a half demon looking dude, or half dragon looking guy. So it's a messed up face, scales and everything, awesome looking. And then she does a fatality on Shao Kahn. She puts the fans in his head, both of them, and they spin and slice Shao Kahn's head open in two parts. Blood dripping down, his body falls lifeless. Oh, it was awesome fatality. And then everyone's like, don't bow to me, rise up, we won, we're free. And then they say Princess Katana, Queen to Katana, or something like that. They're all cheering for her. So, man, awesome fight. Great ending. And then after that, they show a scene where Johnny Cage is in the campfire talking to probably, it was Braca and 6 Tarkatan children or something like that, and talking to him about all the stories and stuff. That he did all these things in the tournament, whereas basically he was just stealing stories from the other fighters and making his own little thing. And then Rain and Sonya come up from behind, and I think, not Jax, Jade arrives, Katana, Jade, I think Kano, Raiden, Liu Kang, they all arrive there at the campfire. And then there's something like we have to rescue the other fighters or something like that. And then they all stand in line and they all walk towards the camera like a team walking towards the camera. So that's the basically ending, saying, hey, the next adventure is to get other fighters, basically. So in all, guys, I love this movie. Yeah, it wasn't perfect. The story wasn't the greatest, but let's rewind, right? What was terrible about the first movie? No tournament, and there weren't enough fighting. Well, we got the tournament, and we got a crap ton of fighting. So what do you want, right? So awesome movie. I'm thinking this movie did well. I think it made 80 million worldwide on the first week. So I mean, it's like 40 million away from making its budget and becoming even, and then it's going to be profitable. So I think we're going to be good to go for MK3. They already had the script written, so I think it's just a matter of, okay, let's do it and start production. So I mean, the sky's the limit in this franchise. There's so many more characters, so many more villains, so much more story, and if they can build upon this and just go better and better, oh yeah, let's go. It was awesome. So during the credit sequence, that's when they played the Mortal Kombat theme music and showing all the characters, and it was just really fun. There's no end credit scene, so that's it. You can listen to the music and then leave after that, but there's no end credit scene. So yeah, love the movie. Very cool. I will definitely buy this movie on 4K immediately. I will buy this movie, and I'm glad I have the Shao Kahn popcorn buckets because they look awesome. So get them while you can, guys. Go to your theater and see if there's any left. You should get them. They're really cool. And go see this movie. It was a lot of fun. See it in IMAX. It is definitely a difference seeing it in IMAX to see the extra top and bottom of those fight scenes. Looked really great. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. That was my spoiler-filled review of Mortal Kombat 2. Awesome. Yeah, Carl Urban is Johnny Cage. He did a damn awesome job. Just great. Him and Kano back and forth was so funny. So Can't wait. Hopefully they bring Melina into it. I'm hoping somehow. I mean, Scorpion, the actor, Hiroyuki Sanada, he's awesome, but man, he's getting up in age, and I need a more nimble Scorpion that can do flashier and faster things. So I don't know if somehow maybe Cole Young is down there, and Scorpion can give him the vengeance and the essence to come back to life as a new reborn Scorpion. That would be sweet. Somehow, some way, get Melina in there, and I mean, damn, they can't be dead. I mean, Shao Kahn, he can't be dead, really. Come on, it's Shao Kahn. Resurrect him. Quan Chi resurrects Shao Kahn somehow, right? And then you have so much more. So, it's an awesome movie. Thanks for watching this, guys. You have a great day. Like, subscribe, share. Let me know what you thought in the comments. And home theater rules as always. Mortal Kombat was awesome. And I hope we get a third one and a fourth one and the fifth one and the sixth one and the seventh one. And just keep on going. Keep on going. Raph out. See ya.